What was the final straw for you that you said, I gotta start over and get out of this thing?
He cheated.
Both your exes were seen making out yesterday. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't care. You don't care. I'm just worried about very worried about his little man.
Right. Okay. Why do you guys think they got together? Like,
I mean, I provided for Kroy for 10 years solely, so I'm fully responsible for that.
okay.
Yeah, man.
When I said I was filing for divorce, he said, I'm going to publicly destroy you. And he told both my daughters that as well. And that's been his goal. And that's all he cares about. It hasn't worked yet.
Welcome back to Celebrity News Addict. Today, we're diving into all the latest updates in Kim and Kroy's never-ending divorce saga. I did a really in-depth video on these two late last year, and this one will be picking up right where we left off. So, if you need a quick refresher, pause this video, hit the link in the description, and then come back here for all the latest updates. If you're already caught up, then strap in, because things have escalated far beyond what anyone ever expected. Since our latest update, Kim and Kroy have been locked in a relentless back and forth custody battle over their 4 minor children, complete with shocking new abuse allegations on both sides, severe financial scrutiny that brought Kim dangerously close to jail time, and a tangled web of new relationships. From Kim temporarily losing primary physical custody, to Kroy publicly stepping out with her new boyfriend's ex-wife, and a shocking $1.2 million IRS bill, this split has spiraled into pure reality TV insanity. As always, we've got a lot to cover. So let's get straight into it. Let's quickly set the stage before diving into the complete timeline of events from last November all the way up to the headlines breaking today. So, since initiating their legal separation back in May 2023, 11 years after they tied the knot, Kim and Kroy have filed for divorce, reconciled, and refiled more times than we can count over the last 3 years. After finally agreeing to part ways for good, the pair officially sold their Georgia mansion for $2.75 million and moved into separate residences while trying to navigate co-parenting their 6 children, including the 4 minors, KJ, Cash, Kaya, and Kane, plus Kim's older daughters from her previous relationship, Brielle and Ariana, who Kroy legally adopted back in 2013. When we left off in October last year, the pair were both firing nuclear accusations of abuse at one another. While Kroy repeatedly petitioned for sole legal and physical custody, painting Kim as an unfit mother with a crippling gambling addiction, severe narcissism, and a habit of abandoning the kids for weeks at a time, on her side, Kim fired back just as hard, accusing Kroy of aggressive mental cruelty, tracking her location, and lurking outside homes where she stayed. Meanwhile, Kim found herself dragged into yet another high-stakes $100 million divorce battle between her new boyfriend Kyle Mowitz and his estranged wife Jillian Green. After months of trying to keep things low-key and even attempting to secure a confidentiality agreement to protect her kids, Kim was served with a subpoena outside her son's high school in September 2025. Which demanded that Kim turn over every trace of her financial ties to Kyle. To make matters even worse, Kroy was secretly working behind the scenes, meeting up with Jillian to warn her that Kim would drain money from Kyle, even feeding her claims about Kim charging thousands in groceries to Kyle's credit card. By late October, Kroy was taking to social media to call himself a survivor of emotional abuse. Kim obviously publicly denied his claims, calling them unbelievable and not true, and went on to officially hard launch her romance with Kyle, declaring she was finally putting herself and her children first. But with Kroy continuing to push the courts for total control of their 4 minor children, and both sides slinging wild accusations of financial ruin, neglect, and harassment, late October was, if you'll believe it, merely the calm before an even bigger storm. Now, that brings us up to last November, where we left off the previous video. So let's get straight into a timeline of all the latest updates, right up to just a couple of days ago, when Kim accused Kroy of physically abusing their children just as he was spotted publicly making out with her new boyfriend's ex-wife, Jillian Green. So, after announcing that she was dating Kyle on Instagram and getting dragged into his messy divorce with Jillian, things went quiet for just under a month, until November 13th, when Jillian responded to Kim's attempts to avoid being deposed as part of Jillian and Kyle's bitter divorce. As you'll remember, Jillian had Kim subpoenaed in September 2025 outside her child's school. The subpoena asked that Kim turn over all communications with Kyle, as well as all communications between Kim and a third party discussing Kyle, Jillian, their children, the divorce, or payment for services. Jillian also requested that Kim provide any evidence of travel with Kyle, including the travel arrangements, itinerary, where they stayed, and the payment of all expenses associated with the travel. The filing also asked for, quote, any and all documents regarding or pertaining to your financial relationship with Kyle Moetz, including but not limited to gifts given or received from Kyle, expenses paid by Kyle for Kim, monies loaned or monies paid to Kim by Kyle or any of his businesses. In response to this subpoena, Kyle's lawyer, Marvin Solomini, stated, quote, Miss Moetz's decision to involve Kim in the divorce case is highly unnecessary, as any relationship our client may have with her only began after the parties' separation. Kim also filed her own opposition to the subpoena on October 14th, saying she asked Jillian for a confidentiality agreement over the deposition before she sat for it, but Jillian's team refused to agree to the terms. Well, after all of this, the plot thickened on November 13th, when more details from Jillian's filings were publicly released. According to reports from Us Weekly, Jillian demanded that Kim turn over messages she exchanged with a woman named Jenny Doyle, claiming Miss Doyle is, or was, Miss Zolciak's friend, who was also involved in a relationship with Moetz. It was Miss Doyle, we believe, who introduced Miss Zolciak to Moetz. In this new filing from November, Jillian also said Kim had been offered various alternatives to being served publicly outside her child's school. Jillian's lawyer argued, Miss Zolciak could have received service through her counsel and then challenged the subpoena, but she chose not to cooperate. They continued, her claim that the manner of service was somehow inappropriate or harassing was a situation she and her counsel created. Jillian also stated that Kyle has only produced a small amount of his financial records, which apparently showed an alleged promissory note, signed by him but not signed by the borrower Miss Zolciak, listing substantial sums loaned to Miss Zolciak beginning in January of 2025, months before his divorce was filed. Jillian's lawyer added, at the temporary hearing, evidence was also presented of a credit card Moetz had given to Miss Zolciak and paid on her behalf, suggesting this relationship had been going on a lot longer than anyone ever imagined. In this motion, Jillian also argued that the subpoena on Kim appropriately seeks production of documents regarding the relationship Moetz is having with Miss Zolciak with respect to money and custody. Jillian asked the court to force Kim to turn over her communications with Kyle to help determine when their relationship began, as well as money spent, paid, and borrowed, matters concerning the children, including specifically their childcare and exposure to their relationship, and much more. While this was raging on, the next day, on November 14th, Kim went back to fighting her own divorce battles, as she filed yet more court documents, firing back at Kroy's claims that she had violated the court order in their divorce by speaking publicly about their situation and her new boyfriend on Watch What Happens Live and on Kristin Cavallari's podcast tour. As you may remember, on October 16th, Kroy submitted legal filings accusing Kim of failing to turn over documents and ignoring court orders by publicly speaking about the divorce. In his filing, Kroy claimed that Kim was requested to turn over documents to his legal team, including payslips, work contracts, bank statements, and credit card statements, all of which she had failed to produce. He also alleged that there was a court order which stated that they were not to speak publicly or on social media about their divorce, but claims that 2 days after this order was signed, Kim went on to Kristin Cavallari's podcast and spoke about the split, taking shots at Kroy and accusing him of relying on her financially and stealing every piece of jewelry she ever owned.
First of all, I love when people tell me I spent all Kroy's money. I've made way more than Kroy.
I've worked my ass off to provide for my family and my children. This man has not paid a bill in this house in years. This is the first time, by the way, I'm speaking because I just moved into my brand new house 10 days ago and I feel safe. I feel safe enough to speak.
Kroy also recalled a time when Kim spoke about the divorce on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, highlighting that she referenced their children in both interviews. Kroy stated that Kim's decision to speak about the children and divorce publicly demonstrates her, quote, lack of ability to understand or provide for the best interests of the children, and therefore placed Kim in contempt of court by violating the terms of their temporary parenting agreement. He stated, time and time again, Zolciak has demonstrated her complete disregard for court orders. Well, in her retaliatory filing on November 14th, Kim denied that the court had ordered her to turn over any documents or that she had broken any rules by talking publicly about their relationship. She said that her court-appointed official has not indicated that there is any support for Kroy's latest claims, and therefore, Kroy should be ordered to cover her legal fees for defending herself against them. And if Kroy had a problem with Kim speaking publicly about the relationship, then he wasn't going to be happy by November 17th, when Kim continued to speak about the divorce publicly in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, where she revealed where things currently stood between them. Kim stated, co-parenting would make our children's lives so much happier, and I just keep continuing to pray for that to be the way. In response, the reporter, Bryce Sander, asked why things can't get to that place. And Kim replied, when I said I was filing for divorce, he said, I'm gonna publicly destroy you. And he told both my daughters that as well. And that's been his goal, and that's all he cares about, adding, it hasn't worked yet. Bryce also asked what Kim's final straw in the marriage was, and Kim revealed that Kroy had cheated. In this same interview, Kim spoke about her new relationship with Kyle, revealing, it took me 2 years to even go on a date with anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. I'm a Taurus, honey. I'm loyal to a fault. She continued, almost 2 years after I filed for divorce, I went on my first date and we have been together ever since. Kim was then asked about Kyle still being legally married. Check out her response.
There are headlines that this man is a married man. You want to shut that down?
I'm sorry, I'm legally married and so is he. So he's been
separated.
going through a divorce for years as well. So I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to wait until I'm legally divorced, which I don't think Kroy will ever give me a divorce.
What was the final straw for you that you said, I gotta start over and get out of this thing?
He cheated.
Okay.
So
We got some BravoCon breaking news here. Do you see a light at the end of the tunnel here?
We've been in the same thing for 2 years.
yeah. No movement, no change, just constant antics. When I said I was filing for divorce, he said, I'm going to publicly destroy you. And he told both my daughters that as well. And that's been his goal. And that's all he cares about. It hasn't worked yet.
Meanwhile, in another interview at BravoCon, Kim also revealed, quote, I just want what's best for my kids. And unfortunately, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And I've tried so many different avenues and different ways that we could co-parent, but it's impossible. So I just accepted that a long time ago. She also stressed, I don't have any problem with my ex Kroy. I don't have any issues. I never have. Kim was also asked about her current living situation and revealed to the Daily Dish that she is settled in a new home following the sale of the home she shared with Kroy. She stated, I love my new home. All the kids have their own bathrooms and bedrooms, and continued to boast about a full basement and a huge kitchen. Then, on November 20th, Teen Vogue published an interview with Kim's daughter Ariana. In the interview, Ariana addressed the allegations that her parents had taken all the money that she had earned from brand deals over the last 10 years.
Unfortunately, my parents took my money.
Do you have any idea roughly how much money?
I don't even know how much money I made over the time period. Nobody was honest. There was no transparency. And I have no idea where it actually went.
When asked about this in November, Ariana stated, my mum is my best friend. She's always been my best friend. A lot of people like to blame this whole situation on my mum. It was definitely a joint effort between my mum and my dad, and they wouldn't have done that unless they had to, unless there was no other option. They just needed to keep a roof over the kids' heads, and they come first no matter what. So it was easy for me to get over. She continued, God blesses me to be able to make money in other aspects of my life. My mum set me up with this career. I wouldn't be here without my parents, and family is so much more important to me than money was. The next update came on December 11th, 2025, when Kim was slapped with a massive new 6-figure tax bill right before Christmas. According to Us Weekly, on December 11th, the IRS filed a lien against Kim for over $1.3 million in unpaid taxes dating back over the last 3 years. The government alleged that Kim owes $104,009.82 for 2019, $24,471.87 for 2023, and $35,322.71 for 2024, totaling $163,804.30 in unpaid taxes. The address listed on the lien is a 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom, 5,711 square foot home worth an estimated $1.3 million. Definitely not Kim and Kroy's previous shared home, but potentially Kim's new place that she was all too quick to boast about. Kroy was also hit with a tax lien for unpaid taxes between 2019 to 2024, with the IRS demanding he pay $194,199.24. And if you remember from our last update, Kim and Kroy also had a tax lien filed against them back in 2023, which detailed over $1,147,834 in unpaid taxes for the years 2013, 2017, and 2018, which is still yet to be cleared. When you add this new $163,000 bill to their existing $1.14 million lien from 2023, the new total of Kim's debts to the IRS is a whopping $1,311,638. So far, I haven't seen any reports detailing how or when Kim will even begin paying this back. Anyway, fast forward to January 22nd, 2026, and rumours started swirling that Kroy was also moving on and beginning to date someone new. In a post to his Instagram, Kroy shared photos of himself holding the Bible alongside the caption, "As my story continues, God holds the pen, each chapter authored by his grace." The image that caught everyone's eye was the last photo, which showed Kroy's face being held by seemingly female hands, getting the internet fired up with rumours he may be in a new relationship. Then, on February 5th, TMZ revealed that Kim and Kroy had finally reached a temporary child custody agreement after years of back and forth. As you may remember, Kim and Kroy's custody battle concerns their 4 youngest children, KJ, Cash, Kaya, and Kane. In August 2025, Kroy had kick-started the battle when he demanded sole custody of the 4 minors, making allegations that Kim leaves their children unattended, randomly pulls them out of school, and doesn't attend to their needs. Leading up to his sole custody filing, he and Kim had been sharing split custody of their children. In this configuration, Kim and Kroy had agreed that they would each have 2 children with them at all times. They would then exchange their pairs on a week-by-week basis. They put this plan in place after they moved out of their foreclosed Georgia mansion in April 2025. But, according to TMZ, Kim and Kroy sat down for a mediation session around February 5th and managed to sign a new temporary custody agreement, although the details of this were firmly under wraps. Then, on March 3rd, a temporary parenting plan was entered by the court, which awarded Kim physical custody of KJ and Cash, while giving Kroy custody of Kaya and Kane. This order was set to take effect the week commencing March 30th. And as soon as this arrangement went into effect, on March 30th, Kroy immediately filed for sole custody of his 4 minor children once again. In this filing, Kroy demanded that a judge revoke their joint custody agreement, which had been agreed the month before, and instead give him sole custody of their little ones, accusing Kim of committing fraud and deceit when she signed the agreement. Kroy claimed that Kim entered into the temporary mediated parenting plan in bad faith, alleging that she knew she wouldn't be able to adhere to the terms of the agreement. He claims she almost immediately left the country for extended periods, making her wholly unavailable to parent the children in any fashion under their agreed-upon parenting plan. Kroy detailed that Kim had only seen the children once between February 26th to March 29th. And on the day she did have them, March 9th, one of them was bitten by a dog. He alleged, quote, "The facts surrounding Kim's misguided parenting of the children, lack thereof, and blatant mismanagement of basic parenting responsibilities would be practically unbelievable to anyone not familiar with the circumstances." In the original custody agreement, Kim and Kroy had also agreed to complete 2 counselling sessions per month for 2 months and then 1 session per month after that. But Kroy accused Kim of missing these therapy sessions for the kids between February 26th to March 29th. TMZ were the first to report on this, and Kim was quick to make a statement of her own, telling the outlet, quote, "These accusations are completely false and nothing more than a deliberate attempt by Kroy to defame my character. I spent 5 weeks away working on 2 TV shows to support my family and make sure my children are cared for, something I will never apologise for." She added, "I refuse to be bullied or have lies twisted into a narrative about who I am. I will not stay silent. The truth is on my side, and it will come to light, no matter how hard anyone tries to bury it." Then, on April 3rd, a decision was reached. Cobb County Superior Court Judge Kelly S. Hill ordered Kim to attend 4 parent therapy sessions between April 3rd and April 13th while her children were out of school, declaring that during this time, all 4 children shall remain in the father's physical custody. The court-appointed guardian would then be required to independently verify that Kim had attended the therapy sessions. The order stated that once Kim had completed all 4 sessions, the pair could resume their temporary parenting agreement, giving them both joint custody until further agreement or modification. This sparked instant online rumours that Kim had lost joint custody and Kroy had won in his attempts to be granted sole legal and physical custody of KJ, Cash Cade, Kaya Rose and Kane Wren. But Kim quickly rebuked this in a post to her Instagram story on the day of the ruling, writing, "I signed a temporary custody order at the end of January. The order clearly states that both the mother and father are to participate in 2 counselling sessions per month for 2 months, followed by 1 session per month thereafter. I was out of the country from February 26th through March 28th due to contractual filming obligations on 2 separate productions." She continued, "During that time, I did not have a single day off, making it impossible to attend the required counselling sessions. Kroy, as of today, I had KJ and Cash up until 5 p.m. today, currently has the children for spring break, which is his designated parenting time under the existing agreement. I'm scheduled to resume my parenting time when the children return on Friday. My counselling sessions are scheduled and will be completed next week." She concluded, "For the avoidance of any doubt, I have not lost custody of my children, nor has there been any modification to the custody agreement outside of the agreed upon temporary order." And, true to her word, Kim's custody was reinstated after she complied with the mandatory therapy sessions. But, less than 1 month later, on April 22nd, Kroy filed yet another emergency motion where he accused Kim of neglecting their children and once again entered a plea for permanent primary legal and physical custody. Kroy claimed that Kim, quote, "acts in ways that are harmful to the children and contrary to their best interests," alleging he has evidence that Kim is both unstable and unfit as a parent. Kroy also argued that under the current parenting plan, all 4 children were rarely together as a group, as 2 were with Kroy and 2 were with Kim, adding that Kim is, quote, "more selfishly concerned with her own image and her work options than with the opinions of experts and/or the best interest of the children." He concluded, "This constitutes neglect of the minor children and is harmful to the progress and healing of the family unit." In response, Kim's lawyer told TMZ, quote, "Kroy's decision to file this motion lacks factual support and is unwarranted. We will address these claims in the proper legal forum and will vigorously defend the truth in court, rather than through public discourse." The following week, on May 1st, the judge ruled on Kroy's emergency motion and awarded him primary physical custody of all 4 children, while giving Kim limited parenting time with them every other weekend. TMZ revealed that the judge declared the pair would continue to share joint legal custody of the children, but Kroy would have physical custody as well as final decision-making authority regarding educational, non-emergency medical, and religious decisions. Speaking on this ruling, Kim stated that this decision was only temporary, pending a full hearing once they returned to court. She claimed that the order stemmed from an emergency motion filed by Kroy with the aim of getting the case in front of a senior judge rather than their assigned judge, who, she claims, had previously denied Kroy's request for immediate hearings despite his multiple filings. Kim stated, "While I want this process to be over for my children more than anything, I'm looking forward to a full court date when we will finally be provided with an opportunity to present the truth." This same day, Kim once again took to her Instagram story to respond to the rumours and allegations. She wrote, "These allegations and accompanying headlines are inaccurate and misleading, both factually and legally. I continue to share joint legal custody with my children and look forward to addressing these matters in court, where I'm confident the record will be clarified and set straight." She continued, "As a single mother and the sole provider for my 6 children, I work hard to make sure they have medical care, food, and all the necessities they need. To say that I neglected my children because I went out of the country to work and provide for them is absurd." Kim concluded, "Any single mother would understand that when you're doing everything on your own, you will do whatever it takes to take care of your children and put food on the table. I know the truth, and when the truth comes out, it will shock you." Then, on May 11th, another plot twist hit headlines. Kroy Biermann was spotted hiking with Jillian in Alpharetta, Georgia. Reports revealed the pair appeared to be very flirty with one another. In fact, photos and videos captured by TMZ showed the couple seeming very familiar with each other, hugging, and at one point, Kroy even had his arm around her. According to the report, a source told TMZ that Kim knew Kroy and Jillian were speaking in some capacity, but didn't know the extent of their relationship. They added that Kim is aware Kroy has been dating other women since their split. And on the same day as this news hit headlines, Jillian was also trying to get back at Kim in another way, as it was revealed that she was making moves to block Kyle's spending habits to ensure she'd still receive the money she's owed at the end of their divorce. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Jillian claimed that Kyle was dropping crazy money on Kim, her family, and their lavish lifestyle, including covering Kim's legal fees in her divorce from Kroy. Jillian requested an injunction to prevent Kyle from spending such substantial sums and demanded that money be put in escrow so she can receive the money she's entitled to in the divorce when it's settled. In the filing, Jillian referred to Kyle's spending as out of control, insisting, "There is every reason to believe the millions of dollars he is expecting from his business will disappear quickly without court intervention." She added that Kyle has spent money on an expensive car, trips, and wine, as well as on large purchases for Kim, who she calls his potential future wife, loaning her money and allegedly paying her rent, bills, and legal fees. Jillian demanded that the court intervene immediately. The next day, May 12th, TMZ obtained yet more court documents, which revealed that Kroy's lawyers issued a subpoena to obtain the transcript and video of Kim's deposition in Jillian and Kyle's divorce, in which she was questioned about gifts and trips that Kyle had purchased for her. According to reports, Kroy believed that the transcript might provide him with evidence to use in his own divorce battle. However, Kim had only agreed to the deposition with the stipulation that this would be confidential, so it's unlikely that Kroy would receive a copy. Personally, I think that when Kroy and Jillian met up in May, they discussed Kim's deposition, and this obviously inspired Kroy to go on the hunt for the evidence that he now knew existed. Anyway, fast forward to May 22nd, and Kyle fired back at Jillian's request for him to stop spending money on Kim. In his filing, Kyle denied Jillian's accusations that his spending is out of control and that he fails to pay the expenses for his family and children, reiterating that it is, quote, plainly false to state that Kyle uses his money primarily to pay for his own lifestyle and his girlfriend's lifestyle. In fact, Kyle claimed that it's actually Jillian racking up debt on his credit cards, which he said he pays for, adding that she lives large and recently dropped $2,300 on a lavish hotel room. I wonder if this was with Kroy. Anyway, on this same day, Kim filed documents of her own to fight back against Kroy's claims that she neglects their kids. In her documents, Kim claimed that the custody decision made back in early May which temporarily awarded Kroy sole custody of all 4 of their minor children, was made without the proper witnesses testifying, including the therapist who speaks to their family. Kim alleged that the therapist refused to show up to the hearing and testify despite being under a subpoena, meaning she was unable to expose Kroy's lies and refute the kids' court-ordered lawyer's recommendations. Kim therefore asked that the emergency order be vacated. Kim took this a couple of steps further on June 4th when she filed her own motion for an emergency hearing, claiming that Kroy is not feeding their children, alongside a host of other wild accusations. In this filing, she claimed that the 4 children are, quote, at risk of ongoing mental and physical abuse, stating that they constantly contact her when they're visiting their father, to request food when they're hungry and medicine when they're sick, and adding that she immediately ensures that the children have what they need. Worse, she also alleged that her children are subjected to frightening, rage-fueled tirades, accusing Kroy of throwing one of their minor sons over the couch during a heated argument. She added that one of their younger children had expressed to their therapist that they've experienced mental, emotional, and physical abuse from him. Alongside this, Kim accused Kroy of having sex with multiple women so loudly that the kids can hear him. Her filing stated that Kroy has been sleeping with several women over the past few months, one of whom even vacationed with them, adding that the kids, quote, have reported on multiple occasions not seeing Kroy for hours on end, but hearing him engage in sexual acts with his girlfriend of the moment. Kim went on to make allegations against their court-appointed guardian too, alleging they dismissed the incident where Kroy threw one of the children by claiming that the kid was sizable for his age. Kim obviously insisted that the child is still a child, no matter their size. She also said that 2 of the other children had expressed their wishes regarding their living situations to the guardian, only to be branded as lying. In her filing, Kim went on to insist that the guardian was made aware of alleged mental, emotional, and physical abuse by Kroy, but says no professionals have sounded an alarm because the abuse did not, quote, leave marks. She went on to claim that the guardian always sides with Kroy and was the one to recommend that he be awarded primary custody, which the court went on to implement. Kim didn't hold back in this filing, as it also contained evidence in the form of a text message from one of Kroy's ex-girlfriends, Bree, to Kim's new boyfriend, Kyle, which read, "Is this Kyle? It's Bree. I'm trying to reach him. Okay, so I know this is your primary phone number. Just tell Kim that she needs to watch her back when it comes to Maria blank." She had sex with Kroy and tells him everything. She basically sends blank to Kim's house to be a spy. She even told him that blank spent $10K on your credit card and sent it to her house. Bree continued, "He doesn't have anything to do with her other than that, and she is totally obsessed with him. Tell Kim I'm sorry for what he's done to her. I believe Kim. He is abusive, and his abuse is unlike any I've ever witnessed. He belittles you and makes you feel like you're dumb and the worst person in the world." This same filing also included more evidence which provided more context about Bree's relationship with Kroy. This time, the evidence came in the form of a letter written by the mother of one of Kim and Kroy's son's girlfriends. The letter was sent to the court-appointed guardian and revealed that the woman's daughter went on a trip with Kroy and his family over spring break. But Kroy never mentioned that his girlfriend and OnlyFans model Bree, the same Bree who sent the text above, was going to be there. The mother wrote, quote, "This is a concern due to the apparent poor influence of his girlfriend. Although much of her sexual content has been removed from the internet, I did see the photos before their removal." She continued, "The woman is not someone who needs to be around teenage kids or giving advice on their behaviour. My daughter knows she's not allowed to be around the girlfriend for an extended time." Adding, "I would assume Kroy would feel the same way about me taking one of his children on a trip with my family if I had an OnlyFans male model as my guest." The concerned parent also added that Kroy had even started screaming at her daughter on the trip and told her, quote, "My son can't save you," concluding that removing the kids from Kim's care would be detrimental to them because Kim is in contact with her children around the clock, monitoring their well-being, location, and safety. In a further filing, Kim requested that the court set an emergency hearing to discuss the custody arrangement, stating she has serious concerns about Kroy's alleged anger issues. In this filing, Kim objected to Kroy continuing to have primary custody, claiming their court-appointed guardian recommended that Kroy undergo anger management therapy and alleged that severe issues continue to arise on Kroy's watch. Kim also alleged that Kroy is unwilling to share information with her about their kids. A couple of weeks later, on July 17th, Kroy filed new court documents to deny Kim's request for an emergency hearing about their custody. He argued that, quote, "A true emergency does exist that directly impacts the mental and physical well-being of the minor children, but claimed that these children are suffering ongoing mental abuse at the hands of Zolciak." According to reports, Kroy disagreed with all of Kim's, quote, "unsubstantiated and harsh criticism of the children's therapist and guardian ad litem, who he claims are desperately trying to save these children." Kroy claimed he feared that if the court did not uphold the custody recommendations, quote, "the damage would be irreparable." The next day, July 18th, TMZ revealed that Kim had been ordered by a Georgia judge to pay $2,535 in unpaid fees that she owed to the guardian ad litem after they interviewed Kim, Kroy, and their 4 children to reach a determination in the custody battle. The order stated that if Kim failed to pay the money by August, she could face potential jail time. But TMZ revealed that Kim had paid the bill in full a couple of days earlier, on July 14th, despite her ongoing issues with the guardian. Then, just a few days later, on July 23rd, Kim's boyfriend Kyle filed claims against his estranged wife Jillian, claiming that she lied about her relationship with Kroy in her deposition testimony. Kyle stated that Jillian described Kroy as a friend who she had only met once, testifying that they weren't still in contact and stating she expected no ongoing relationship and no plans to bring him around her children. But Kyle argued that he later found evidence to contradict that, including seeing Kroy's car parked outside the family home while the children were there. Kyle also cited the photos of the pair together that were made public back in May and alleged that neighbours have told him that Kroy visits often. Plus, he had text messages produced during the divorce which show more contact between the pair than Jillian previously acknowledged. Kyle's filing requested that the court bar Kroy from the residence and from having any contact with his children due to Kroy's, quote, "unpredictable behaviour and alleged history of mental and physical abuse involving both adults and children." Then, on August 17th, the final update in today's video, TMZ captured video footage of Kroy and Jillian on yet another hike, getting even more cozy than they did back in May, as the pair were caught kissing along a trail in Alpharetta, Georgia. Definitely doesn't look like just friends. So that's it for today's video, and what a complete mess. From temporary custody losses and 6-figure tax liens to secret alliances and public makeout sessions with estranged exes, it feels like every single month brings another unbelievable twist to this story. At this point, it's hard to imagine how these two will ever reach a peaceful co-parenting setup when every legal filing seems more absurd than the last and designed to completely destroy the other. But, as always, I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think about Kroy kissing Jillian? Is this to just get back at Kim? Do you think Kim will ever regain full joint physical custody after everything that surfaced in court? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest news and updates on this case as they happen. Thanks for watching.